Up guys, so I wanted to make a video because obviously BlackRock Foundry opened up today, and obviously the mythic race has begun. And if you guys know me, you know how much I absolutely love raiding and love, you know, the race to world first and all that stuff. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit more motivation today. And this video specifically is a shout out to my buddies at Last Word. So, you know, obviously with Mythic releasing and with, you know, the one high-end raid difficulty starting up, you know, everybody's kind of finding out exactly where they rank. You know what I mean? And like exactly how good they are. And the big thing that I wanted to say was, you know, I was watching a motivational video this morning, and the big message in it was act as if, right? So the goal is if you act like a top world player, if you act like a server first player, you will become a server first player. And what I'm talking about here is, you know, if saying that you want to be server first, or saying that your goal is to be, you know, world top 100 or world top 50 or US top 50 or whatever your goal is, that's great. But are you doing the things that it takes to actually be that? So when I was raiding, and, you know, soon hopefully I'll be back, but, you know, my big thing was I always wanted to be, you know, a top tier mage, right? A top tier world ranking mage. That was my number one goal, was how do I become a top world rank mage? So what did I do? I read the blogs of the guys who were the best in the world, the Kuznams, the Vikinyas, the Bladdies. Those were the guys that I studied, right? I became friends with Turkey Burger from Midwinter to, you know, to shoot the shit with on mage stuff. I constantly read MMO Champion forums, Icy Vein forums, any forums I could about mages. I read them because I wanted to know everything I could about the class, anything that I might have missed. If I wanted to be the best at a fight, I watched the fight videos. I understood the mechanics. I studied and studied and studied, so that way when I stepped in there, I picked up on things a lot quicker. I'm not saying, obviously, if you study, you're going to know the whole fight, but I will tell you that if you're studying the videos and you're really saying, okay, well, what does my class need to do in this situation? How do my talents work? How do my glyphs work? What do I want to try? What do I want to test on this fight? What do I think is going to be really overpowered, really good? What stats? All that stuff. And you sit down and you go through that. Are you going to be a better mage than if you just say, hey, I want to be world first, and you go in there and you learn the fight with the guild and you're taking your time and all that stuff? No. So if you want to be a top server player and you want to be a world first, world best player at your class, you have to put in the time. Are you going to be a better player if you studied fight mechanics, if you learned classes, if you learned your stat priorities, if you learned mechanics that you could cheese as your class, if you found things that you could do that would help your raid group as a team? Are you going to be a better player? And the answer is absolutely, right? If you take the time to do those things, you will be a better player. Now, here's the trick, is it also takes 19 other people to make that kind of commitment before you're going to see those results. And you've seen it in every guild that you're in, right? In every guild that I've been in, I've seen the same thing. There's always that top echelon of players in every guild who are the players who kind of carry the guild, right? Who do the top DPS. Doesn't matter what their class is, they're always on the top, right? So they're the best tank, or they're the best healer, or they're the best DPS. And there's always a group of those players who are at the top of every guild, and then there's always that extra 3 or 4 or 5 people who just, you know, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. So what I would encourage everybody to do is really sit down and say, okay, do I want to be a part of a group that's that dedicated, that wants to go for server first? And if the answer is yes, then are you doing the things that it takes to become server first? Are you doing the things that it takes to become a top tier player at your class? Are you doing the things that it takes to push your guild to the next level? And part of that is communication and teamwork. I guarantee you, none of the top guilds like Blood Legion, like Method, like Paragons, Midwinter, none of those guys or girls, none of those players would be where they are without communication as a team. How do they learn between wipes? What are they doing between attempts to make the group better, to make their class better, to make their healing group, their DPS group, their tank group better? What are they learning every attempt? Are they getting the most out of every attempt? Are they focusing as hard as they can? Are they giving their best effort no matter what? because I guarantee you those guys are. And that's what makes the difference between the top 10 and the top 200 is that little bit of extra work. I promise you that's it, because you can take a player and, I mean, if you look at ranks after fights are out, there's players that constantly rank and are very, 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 very good at their class, but they don't want to put in the extra work. They don't want to learn how to communicate with people. They don't want to help other players around them get better. They don't want to make their group stronger. They just want to show up, get their loot, and try to parse. That's what they want to do. And those are the type of players that are not going to help your guild. So don't be that type of player. Be the best teammate that you can be. And that means researching fights, researching your class, knowing everything about that encounter that you can do, and then learning from wipes, not taking a set off, not taking a wipe off. Go all the way through. Every attempt is crucial. Like it's a world first kill. And I promise you, your group will be much more successful. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all the guilds going for server first, going for world first, going for US first, EU first, all that stuff. Big shout out to Last Word. I know you guys can do this. I know you guys can pull ahead of those creeps. Go after it. Be the best. And I'll see you in the next tier.